What's going on, y'all? Welcome to episode 25 of the Fight Night Forecast, where we highlight, recap, and cover all things boxing. And we're live. Episode 25 is a special one. We're live today. So, thank you for tuning in. If some people start rolling in here in a minute, but we're gonna try something a little different. We're gonna try a little live. Let me make sure I got the lighting right here. Get the camera situated real quick. Might have a few people hop in. We'll see. If not, it'll be on here. Y'all can watch it later. All right. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Let's get into this past weekend of boxing though. So we had. I know everyone's like, man, it's Saturday. We're already on to Fury and Ngannou, but we still got to talk about last week. So last week we had Jack Catterall and Jorge Linares. It turned into a more or less. It turned into Catterall pretty much having a dominant performance, but you know, Linares, legend of the game. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, and this fight actually ended up retiring Linares. So right after the fight, he announced his retirement. So he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. He's was getting to that age. I feel like where you know it's tough to say with age because you got so many guys that are doing it into their late 30s and early 40s, and sometimes even later than that. But you know, you hit that age, I guess, around that 38, 39 ish, where you got to kind of make a decision. Am I still in the mix? Am I not? Like, what's the chances of my title shots coming back around? This and that. So, and Linares just chose to hang the gloves up. He had a really good career, So there's no hate, no malice, right? So, but it ended up being a pretty one-sided fight for Catterall. So I think Catterall can work his way back to, I'd like to see Catterall go back and fight um, Taylor again and maybe avenge that controversial loss that he had, or I could see him fighting, maybe the winner of Haney Prograis or the loser of Haney Prograis, or you know what I mean. You got Teofimo Lopez in the mix. A lot of big names at 140 right now. 140 is kind of becoming a slight powerhouse. So I think Catterall can have some big fights come back. I think we're going to see him back again in a title shot. Catterall is too good of a boxer to um, to not see him again fighting for the title. So then after that, we had Alexis Rocha and Giovanni Santillan, Battle of Southern California, Battle of SoCal. Um, this was actually a very surprising fight. Santillan was a pretty heavy underdog, and he won. He won. I think that Santillan, he's like at a co, has a co sponsorship with not sponsorship, a co fight deal with Top Rank. So I think in a lot of ways he was on the chopping block with Top Rank. He hadn't quite performed the way that they wanted him to. And then he's going up against one of Golden Boys guys, in uh, Rocha. So, that's one of De La Hoya's boys right there, you know what I mean? So they always pump them up. So I think he was kind of on the chopping block with Top Rank a little bit, and they were like, hey, we got to see something, you know what I mean? Or this might not last much longer. So Santillan came out. He stepped to him in the first round. And when I saw that, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a tougher fight than people were imagining. Because all week, I had heard, Rocha's got this, Rocha's got this, Rocha's got this. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's roll with it, you know what I mean? And as soon as that first round hit and Santillan stepped to him, I'm like, man, this is definitely gonna be tougher than even Rocha probably imagined. Um, Funny enough, though, they used to be sparring partners. They're close. I'm pretty sure. Uh, one of the other Rocha lives in San Diego. The other one's like in Sacramento or something like that, right? So everything there's I don't know if it's Sacramento. It might be LA, something like that. They're all down there in that Southern California area, the Bay Area or whatever. And you know, gyms meet up for sparring. That's just what it is. You know, all the gyms I've been into, you know, we meet up with other gyms in the city, or we travel within, you know, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours, right, to get sparring in. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is. You have to go see different looks, right? So at some point, Rocha and Santillan were pretty heavy sparring partners, and they're in their weight class. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you not eventually see them at some point? So yeah, they were sparring partners, and I think what honestly happened was Santillan's on the chopping block. Rocha needed an easy opponent, right, or an opponent to set him up, and they both were like, "Yo, we've like I think Santillan got in there and realized, yo, I'm comfortable. I've been in the ring with this guy. I know his weaknesses, this and that, whatever. I know what I can exploit on, right? Because I've seen him in the gym. So I think Santillan just felt comfortable and was like, man, whatever. I'm just gonna step to him first round and see what happens. Steps to him, and that's what we get, you know. And you got the funny clip of De La Hoya where he's like, I've never seen this energy. You know, I'll see if I can find a way to link it in here, but yeah, it's funny, man. Uh, and then after that, so we had I don't know, I don't normally always cover UFC, but when there's a decent sized card, I'll throw them in there. We had Islam and Islam Machaev and Alexander Volkanovski, and this is a rematch. And Volk unfortunately came up short again, but this time it was TKO. I think last time it might have been a submission. But Volk came up short, round one TKO. You know, Volk had cut a lot of weight for this fight. I think that might have been part of the issue. But you know, Volk is a champion in defeat, and he said, "Hey, I'm not making any excuses for this." He goes, I think Islam just got the best of him for both fights, and that's just what it is. So I believe Volk moved up for that fight or something, or maybe moved down or one of the other, because I think he's still a champion in another division or something like that. So, um, but yeah, I think that you know Volk's still got a lot of life in him, and he's got a lot of different directions he can go in the sport. Still a big name in the sport, big draw. Islam obviously is the champion of that division. He's been killing it. Um, and then the co-main was Hamza Chimaev and Usman, which I was actually very interested um, in this bout because I think it's a really good stylistic matchup. Because you got a pretty decent striker in both. Both guys have really good grappling techniques. You could obviously uh, Hamzat is Hamzat is a Dagestani guy. So those guys, man, they drill the BJJ, they drill the wrestling. But Usman's no slouch on the ground. You know what I mean? So um, yeah, it was pretty crazy, man. So, but Chimaev ended up winning. So I don't know what this means for Usman, man. Usman's kind of been on a slide ever since the Leon Edwards bout. It's just been kind of a downhill slide for him. So um, I I'd like to tell you what's next for Usman, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't say he's out of his prime necessarily. He's between 33, 36, something like that. I believe one of those. But yeah, he's not out of his prime by any means, and I'm curious to see what Dana and the UFC have lined up for him next. So I don't think that. I mean, he's still a big draw to the sport. And I don't think he's like similar to Volk, right? Big draw to the sport, on a little bit of a skid. Um, I think that either way he wants to take it, right? If he's like, hey man, I'm hanging the gloves up, nobody's mad at him. But if he keeps going, I think he could definitely end up champion again. You know what I mean, in his division. But yeah, and then there was that weird situation with I think it's pronounced Ankailev and Johnny Walker, where I think there was like an illegal blow or something, or like he took a weird knee or something like that, and they brought the doctor in to evaluate him, and the doctor was evaluating him. And I guess they asked where he was or something, and he said something crazy like in the desert, right, or something, and the doctor, I guess from what Dana was saying, is inexperienced, didn't really know what to do or say in this moment. So the doctor waved it, called it. And then Johnny Walker kept trying to fight. He's like, no, I'm good. And he kept trying to fight, right? He was pushing through security, and it ended up being a whole thing where they had to get a bunch of security in the ring and they had to escort the guys out. I think they escorted Johnny Walker out of the arena after that, so and later Johnny Walker, he had said, and which I feel like Johnny Walker's always in something. Like that dude, I feel like he's always got some kind of controversy, some kind of something going on, which is funny. But they ended up making it a no contest, so I don't think it affected either guy's record besides adding the no contest onto the end. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. That um, just kind of weird situation, I guess. Dana wants to have him run it back. Dana was actually, you could tell, pretty visibly upset about the call. He called the doctor inexperienced and said that he's got to fix it and make it right or whatever. He goes, this, he said stuff like this happens. But yeah, so we'll figure it out. I think we'll get a rematch on that, and we'll go from there. But I don't think nobody took any serious damage or anything like that. It doesn't seem like, at least I haven't heard anything, about Walker having any kind of trauma or anything like that. But I think it was just him kind of being cheeky a little bit with, we're in the desert, because they were, I believe, overseas. They were in Abu Dhabi or somewhere over there, or Australia or something. I can't remember where they were at, but somewhere where they were in the desert. So they could have been anywhere, but I guess they were actually in the desert. So he was being cheeky and said, I'm in the desert. And then the doctor took that as like, no. Now that's something that's a little different, because I can usually just edit that out when we're live. So excuse me, I did not mean to sneeze. But yeah. So let's talk about Serrano and Ramos last night. That literally just happened last night, and Serrano had a victory over Ramos. She's now undisputed, I believe, at I can't remember which one. She fights in so many different weight divisions, I can't remember. But yeah, but she did win an undisputed last night in the division they fought in, and this was a special fight because they fought men's rules. So they fought 12 3-minute rounds as opposed to the 10 2-minute rounds, or what women normally do. And yeah, so Serrano won. It just kind of shows that she's just the queen of boxing, man, for the most part. I mean, it's got to be she's got to be up there with like Clarissa Shields and a few of the other big name women out there right now. And honestly, I'm not sure I don't think I could even put another name over Serrano besides what's her name, Clarissa Shields. I really don't think I can put another name over. I'm just gonna keep it a bean with you. I don't think so. And honestly, in some ways, you could probably argue Serrano might have a better resume. So but the cool thing is neither ladies are done yet. And so they're just here. So yeah, man. So now we're into this upcoming week of boxing, which is, I guess, is today. We have Ngannou Fury coming up, but I'd like to say that for the very, very last. So I want to get into a few rumors and announcements that I've heard. Let's start with announcements. We got Inoue and Tapales fighting, and I called that back in July on the podcast. I said that Inoue has to fight Tapales to get this undisputed. I believe Inoue has 2 belts, Tapales has 2 belts, so it's an even split. But I called this. I said he's got to fight Tapales, and he's going to move up from there. So he's going to have to finish the business in that division. So it's always nice whenever you're when you got a prediction that comes true, So yeah, and then so we have possibly another announcement. Floyd is fighting Mikey Garcia on December 9th, and there's supposedly got Keith Thurman's fighting on there. Somebody mentioned maybe Adrian Broner is going to be on that card. It's not like fully confirmed yet though. I have a lot. I follow a lot of the guys on here, media wise, and you know, and I follow a lot of other bigger name podcasts. Some guys are like, yeah, it's happening. Some other guys are saying, no, it's not happening. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I will let you guys know if I hear anything else about it. But as far as I know, right now, they're saying it's going to be Mikey Garcia and Floyd Mayweather on December 9th as an exhibition, I believe, because both guys are retired. Mikey Garcia retired pretty young at like 20 or 32, 33, something like that. So he's retired. Then obviously Floyd, I think, is 46 or 7 or something like that right now. So it'd be a little exhibition. I'm not sure what the round number. I'm sure they go 12 rounds, and all that. But yeah. So but they're talking about Thurman on there. They're talking about Broner on there, and a few other big names on that card. So we'll see. I don't know if it happens. We'll know pretty quick. But it just seems like it's kind of in like the rumor stage because I guess like they interviewed Mikey Garcia's dad. Mikey Garcia's dad had no, and that's his trainer too. He has no idea. He's like, I didn't hear anything about this. So he's like, unless Mikey's done something, and hasn't said anything to me about it, then this is not, this is not true. So, but yeah, we'll find out more about that, and I will keep you guys posted in the coming podcasts slash lives. I think I'm gonna start going live a little more, maybe not doing full podcast, but like if something crazy happens, just hop on live for 5-10 minutes, talk with y'all a little bit. So, and it'll be archived, I believe, on here. This is my first live, so I'm trying to figure everything out. So I believe it'll be on here for you guys to watch even afterwards. So, yeah. And then now let's move into some. I guess that last one was kind of a rumor too, but unless it's fully on and we just don't know about it. But here's a rumor: we got Canelo is likely to fight not David Benavidez next. So Canelo's on that 3-fight deal, and he's got one down, right, with the fight we just saw with Charlo, and now he's got 2 more fights with PBC Showtime, which PBC Showtime is done supposedly at the end of the year, but they're talking like Canelo might be the reason it extends a little longer. So we'll see. I don't know, but it's kind of it's been a good run with Showtime, but if you guys have been boxing fans for a while, you'll remember that HBO used to be big into boxing, and now HBO is not here anymore. And then now that they have Showtime, and Showtime's coming to an end, it's just licensing deals. You know what I mean? I think it probably has a lot to do with money, and and deals just expire. That's just what they do. So I have heard some rumors though that Amazon Prime is in the mix now. Like they're talking like, hey, we would maybe sponsor. I think that would be dope because then there's a few other streaming platforms too. This is these are just rumors. I've done a little bit of research into this. They're talking like Netflix could have something in the mix where they do like the Netflix. They'll stream the fights on Netflix. And there'll be an option to pay for pay-per-view or whatever. I mean, I think the Amazon Prime one might be the biggest runner-up. I think Jeff Bezos has got his hand in the mix, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so anyway, enough about Showtime. But yeah, we'll talk more about that too. As they said it's supposed to be the end of the year that they were done, but I heard some rumors that Canelo is kind of throwing his Canelo weight around and saying, hey, I want you guys to be done when I'm done with this deal. You know what I mean? And nobody's going to argue with the money that's going to make, you know what I mean? So Showtime, they, Steven Espinoza and all them over at Showtime might be like, we'll stick around for these last couple of fights just to get this money, So, but yeah, so he's likely to fight Jaime Munguia next, is what they're saying. That's one of the few people that are on the list for Cinco de Mayo. They got, I've heard rumors of Jaime Munguia, so he'd be moving up from 160. I think he's supposed to be fighting, I can't remember who. He's supposed to be fighting somebody at 168. He's having his 168 debut, I believe, in December or January or something like that. And so that would obviously be if he gets through that opponent, right? So he's going to fight him and then possibly fight Canelo in May, Cinco de Mayo weekend, and then they think that he'll fight the winner of Andrade and Benavidez in September for a Mexican Independence Day weekend. That'd be the end of his 3-fight deal. I don't know if that'd be the end of Canelo as we know it, if he's retiring or what, but I couldn't imagine he does, but we'll see. Another option though is Jamal Charlo. So Jamal Charlo has been coming out saying, hey, he's got that storyline. I'm gonna defend my little brother, this and that, blah blah blah. He's got to have his tune-up fight coming up, and honestly, I'd rather him see Caleb Plant, but he's an option. Then we have people have mentioned a rematch with Caleb Plant. I can't imagine that happens as much as I'd love to have it happen. Big Caleb Plant fan for you guys that don't know, if you guys are new on the live, but I can imagine that happens just because he lost his last fight with Benavidez. I think Caleb's got to come in. I think Caleb's got something coming along here pretty soon. He's going to make a fight announcement, I feel like, and get in the ring. But he's got to make a little bit of a comeback, right? I think Caleb's got to fight maybe fight the loser of Benavidez and Andrade, something like that. You know what I mean? Or line something up. Or he, could fight Jamal. And if he fights Jamal and beats Jamal, maybe he gets the rematch with Canelo. Who knows? In May. But I don't think those timelines are gonna match up. People have mentioned Bivol. Now he might have his rematch with Bivol. You know what I mean? And obviously Bivol beat him back. Could have been at this point would have been last year. But yeah. So Bivol beat him, and so people mentioned maybe that might be a rematch there. And then Benavidez, Andrade winner in September. So we will see. There's a lot of different scenarios. I think the most likely might be Munguia, just because the timelines are going to match up. We know how many times that happens, where it's just, the fans want to see that, XYZ fight, but, the fight over here just lines up nice. So it's like, we're going to do that one. So we will see what they end up going with. And I think it's going to be Munguia, because Munguia, it'd be perfect. Munguia fights, I think he fights in December or January. If he wins, he's going to have 3, 4 something months, almost 5 months to get ready for Canelo, right? And Canelo's been chilling, resting. And because you know how he is, he's almost on that 2-fight grind a year now, where he just fights Cinco de Mayo and Mexican Independence Day weekend. So yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. I think it's gonna line up though. We'll see. I think Munguia's tough. I don't necessarily think he gets through Canelo, but you never know. Everybody's got a punching chance, So then in other news, we have John Jones. He was set to fight Stipe Miocic in I think I want to say UFC 295 coming up here pretty quick. He tore his pectoral muscle in training, so he is done for at least 8 months. I don't know what this means for John Jones, because he's kind of getting a little older. He's 34, 35, something like that. I don't know how fast he heals. If he decides to come back, because obviously he's been retired for a while, made this comeback, and I don't know. We'll see. And Stipe's not getting any younger. Stipe is about to be 40, I think. So 38, 39, 40, something like that. So I don't know. I'm not sure we're going to see that fight happen, man. I think that might have been just kind of a sign, but we will see. Hopefully we have quick healing for John Jones gets back in the ring. Maybe we do see that fight, maybe we don't. But now I believe Jiri Prochazka and Alex Pereira is the new main event for that fight, for that card. So not mad at that. It's still a good fight. So not mad at that at all. And then we have a suspension of Keyshawn Davis, unfortunately. And I'd like to hear you guys' idea about this. So I might make this kind of question of the week. Do you think Keyshawn Davis should have been suspended for marijuana? So he got his last fight against, what's his name? Nair Albright. He had his last fight against Nair Albright overturned to a no decision because he popped hot on marijuana. So Kind of silly, I think, in some ways, but then again, he broke the rules, right? So, um, you know, I come from a state that has marijuana legalized, but now I currently live in a state where it's illegal. I don't smoke myself or anything like that, but have a lot of friends that do, and it's not a PED. I'll tell you that. Definitely not a performance enhancing drug. Does not necessarily give you a competitive edge. Maybe it helps you sleep a little more, like you know what I mean, or relax a little bit, I guess. But yeah, nothing like insanely crazy when it comes to performance enhancing. But yeah, so I think it is kind of silly, but he was fighting in a state that does not have it legalized, and so I think that's just what it is. Bob Arum hopped on and made some comments about it, saying I'm not going to penalize the kid for smoking a joint or two, but what do you do? It's just rules at the end of the day. Rules are rules. So I think he has a 3-month suspension. So his fight that he had lined up against Jose Pedraza on December 9th is not happening anymore. He will not be able to fight again until I believe January. So he's suspended for the rest of the year. Hopefully he just takes his time to stay in the gym, stay in shape, get ready for whatever comes down the line for him soon. I'm gonna keep it a beam with you. I don't necessarily agree with suspending him that long for it, but and also overturning his fight. But I'm also not the sanctioning bodies, man. I have no say. I'm just a podcaster. So, um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Tell me what you think. You know, I'm sure um, some of you guys are smoking a blunt right now watching this. So it just kind of sucks. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But let's get into it real quick. Later today, actually in like a few hours, 4 or 5 hours, um, Fury and Ngannou is going down over in Riyadh, over in Saudi Arabia. Um, but I wish that I could come up with 3 keys of victory for both guys and all that. I've had some people say that they are a big fan of that. Me coming up with talking about the 3 keys and all that stuff. So appreciate those people that reached out to me on that. But I don't really have 3 keys in this bout. I think it's going to have to be, and Ngannou's going to have to come at him with everything he's got in the first couple rounds. I think that if he tries to outbox Fury, it's not going to happen. I mean, I just don't think there's any way it's going to happen, especially that he's only been training boxing for a limited amount of time. He's an elite striker in the UFC. I think he's going to have to use that ability to move forward and throw at the same time, kind of like we did with Rosenstruik. If he, just comes at him like that, the first couple rounds gives him a lot of heavy pressure. He's got all the ingredients, right, to win. He's got the physique, he's got the power, he's got the one punch ability, right? He's got all the ingredients, but it's if he can put it all together and bake the cake. You know what I mean? Is really what it comes down to, and and cook up this knockout. So I think really, Ngannou's best bet is he slips in a punch. But then on the opposite end of that, you have Fury where he said, "Dude, I've taken punches from Wilder multiple times and gotten back up, right?" And Wilder, we can agree, Wilder probably has a more deadly right hand than Ngannou. He's taken punches from Klitschko, another heavy right hand, right? So he's fought heavy hitters before, and I don't think he every time he's been knocked down, he's gotten right back up. So I don't know if he's gonna be able to knock him out, right? So that's another thing. Is he gonna be able to knock him out? So I think that's Fury's only chance, or Ngannou's only chance though. And I think Fury, the game plan is outbox his brains out. Man, that's all it is. Just got to stay. You can stay on the outside, outbox him. You can win by points. You can try to knock him out if you want. Like, we're gonna see what Ngannou's cardio looks like. Because you never know. 5, 6 rounds in after chasing Fury around the ring, he might not have anything left in him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see. We'll just have to see. But it's gonna go down here in a few hours. Maybe I'll hop on. I got to work tonight, but unfortunately, I had to work here in just a little bit, so that's why I'm hopping on so early. So sorry for you guys that maybe wanted to see this live, but it's kind of early. But I'm thinking I might maybe hop back on live tonight and do a live reaction or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out, or I might save it for next week's podcast. So sorry for the people that were waiting for the podcast this week. I normally post sometime between Tuesday or Thursday, but I wanted to save it for my first live this weekend. So and this is the best time for me to pop on. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I know didn't have quite a few people come in during the live, but is this will be on my channel to watch just like it would be a normal podcast. So hopefully people still tune in. But if you have not done it already, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'm still trying to come at you guys every week with new content, new episodes. I've been posting a lot of shorts lately too, with different, just different fighters or whatever. Sometimes they're interviews, sometimes they're pad work, sometimes they're training, sometimes it's, post fight interviews, whatever. I've been posting a lot of those, and they've been getting pretty good traction for the most part. So if you are new to the channel, go check all those out too. Those are all on my shorts page on my channel. But yeah, other than that, the gang's growing. We just hit 350 this week. We're on our way to 500. So once we hit 500, we can start doing the YouTube partner program. So your boy is trying to make it out here. So please, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, give me a subscribe. If you are subscribed already, hit me with the post notifications. Argue with me in the comments. Tell me you hate me. Let's have a conversation. So hope you guys have a blessed day. Enjoy the fight later today. And that's it. I'm out. Peace.